All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with our post-game press conference with head coach Emma Kutz, and we'll get started. If you are on the Zoom and you would like to ask a question, use the raise your hand feature. We will do our best to get you called on. If you are in the room, just use your hand here, and we'll get you called on. We'll open up, let Coach make a quick statement, and then we'll go to questions. Coach?
Cool. Yeah, obviously disappointed with the result today. I thought what I was proud of is the way that we kept pushing for a goal at the end. Probably not the quality at times that we wanted, but can't fault the players' commitment to want to try and stay in the game, try and score a goal, but generally just disappointed with the outcome and probably the way we started the game more than anything.
All right, I saw a question in the back.
Coach, how much was it their speed, particularly Stendis, as far as like trying to be able to get out in front and take the lead on your team?
Yeah, the speed of their front line is good, both in possession and out of possession on their press. And I think there's multiple things. It's a bit counterintuitive. Sometimes you want to, as a player, drop to protect the space behind you, which is what started happening, and the gaps get really big. And we need to be a little bit braver to stay higher for longer, and to be a little bit braver on the ball as well to be able to play through their press. And I thought it just took us too long to get up to speed with that.
How are you?
Yeah.
San Francisco, California, 10 a.m. What positives are you taking away to face North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, the positives is we obviously tried something a little bit different later in the game to try and push and score more goals, and I thought we tried to create that in different ways. I thought the players that came into the game had an impact, which was good. I think there's lots of lessons in terms of some of the game management around recognising when do we speed it up and slow it down. But I think the fact that there was belief to keep wanting to try and score was good.
How could you guys balance opportunities now moving forward?
Say again, sorry?
How could you balance opportunities moving forward from today's game?
The opportunities, we're trying to develop a real identity here and belief and confidence. And I think, whilst we're disappointed in the result, we tried to do some of the right things, and there's lots of lessons to take. There was opportunities for different players to come into the game, and I think that's one that we'll review the game. We'll review it against what we tried to do and our identity, and then we'll obviously build into next week.
Theo?
Hey, Coach, can you talk about Jireli and her
Yeah.
impact? Obviously you mentioned, the pressing late to the match.
Yeah.
She was a big component in that.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. She's a top player, and I thought her experience to try and manage the game and recognise moments to get us up the pitch and when to press, and likewise, some of her back to goal play. And I think as she gets in and around the team more, and the girls learn a little bit more around her style of play, I think that's going to be really effective. But it was great to have her leadership on the pitch today.
And then, was there a part of the game plan that you just feel like that part I got wrong in terms of like giving up those 3 goals in sort of similar fashion?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's one of those where it's easy to go, did we get it wrong? I think there's moments that we didn't apply consistently the things that we wanted to do. We didn't do it quick enough, and I think that's the thing with teams like this. If you don't do it quick enough, you get punished because of the speed and the quality of some of their players, and I'd say that's what cost us a little bit today.
Here, then.
What do you think about the referee's call today?
Say again, sorry?
The referee's call today, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that there's parts that obviously it's disappointed that we obviously now dealing with Taylor being out with a red card, and I've not seen any of the instances, so I don't really want to comment on that right now. I think I'd like to see just some more consistency going forward around certain calls, but other than that, there's probably not too much to say.
You mentioned Jireli's experience. I mean, how much did she help with young attackers like Carly and Alex and help them kind of get up to speed and better at this level?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see it sort of in training every day, the way she's like talking with the players, some of the stuff that they do in and around training, the problem solving. The players love that. Some of the work that she's been doing with some of the younger players at the end of training around some of their finishing, that's something we're working really hard on. And you could even see it like before the game in the changing rooms, just the conversations that we're having. So I think she's going to have a huge impact on some of the players here.
Rachel wasn't on the field today. She had a leg injury.
Yeah.
Can you give an update on that? And did you guys miss her being out there today?
Yeah, it's a low-level strain, so that it's nothing too significant. Looks a little bit worse with a crutch, right? We're just trying to protect her a little bit. Did we miss her today? I'm like, absolutely. We always miss players when they're unavailable. Do I feel that we still have players that possess the same sort of speed and power? I think we do in Carly and Kira. So yes, we missed her, but I still think we've got a squad and some good depth up there for a reason.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to the Zoom. We do have a question from Dan Maletta. Dan, go ahead.
Thanks, Jeff. Emma, the team honored the Cyber Rays from WUSA pregame. I know you were young at that time. I'm wondering if you have any memory of that team when it existed when you were a kid in England.
Yeah, no, I'm quickly learning though.
And then one more, just what are your thoughts through 2 games on Claire Hutton's performance in midfield?
Yeah, I think she's first and foremost. I think she's a warrior. I thought, she took a lot of hard hits there. I thought they marked her really tightly. I thought they did a good job to try and sort of make her life tough. I thought she was everywhere from an out of possession point of view the last couple of games, and she's still been brave to get on the ball. You see little moments of creativity. So we're excited to have her here, and we're just excited to see her keep growing in her performances.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. We'll go to Marco.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Coach, what do you have you thought of Carly News play through 2 games? It seemed like she struggled a little bit in the first match, but then maybe improved a little bit tonight. What do you think of her play so far to start the season? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, with Carly, she's such a powerful player, someone who is a real nuisance to play against because of her strength and her power. I think there's obviously the bits we're working with her on is just some of her decision making tactically in the game, and I wouldn't say that's exclusive to Carly. I think we're trying to transition into a style of play and identity, and I mentioned it in the press conference last week. Did we do it last week consistently? No. Were the areas we did well? Yes. And that's the same tonight. There was parts of our identity that we saw. There was parts that we didn't quite get it right at key moments. But I think she's improving. She struggled a little bit in pre-season with a problem with a rib as well, so she's still sort of building. But yeah, I think I'm excited to see what comes from Carly this season.
Would you consider tonight sort of like a wake-up call? It's kind of the first bit of adversity since
Yeah, I mean, football's football. You win some, you lose some. The world keeps turning. There's parts of the game that we didn't execute well enough today. We turned the ball over easily. We didn't quite shift quick enough out of possession. But are there glimpses that you start to see what we're capable of? I think so. We were punished in the game, and that's what you get at this level. But is there areas of growth that we're seeing across? Absolutely. And I think some things that make teams stronger is dealing with diversity, and as I say, the belief and the togetherness of the group is so important, and I'm sure that'll be on display in the way that we bounce back next week.
All right, any other questions for Coach? Okay, that is it for her.